Greetings to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video might be seen and shared. Celine Driver once again, bringing you another unboxing and review, or unrolling and review in this case, of a watch that is mine. This was another one of those famous or infamous Celine Driver impulse buys. I saw this watch recently on a live stream that I moderate every week, every Monday evening at about 8:30 Eastern Time, I think is the current time. That varies from season to season according to Random Rob's moods, really. But it was on the Random Rob live stream recently that I saw this watch. And being a huge fan of this particular colorway, and the fact that it was a very low price comparatively, I decided I just had to have one of these. And it's from a micro brand that is based here in America, and everything is assembled here in America, Detroit, Michigan, to be exact. And this is from Detroit Mint. I've never owned a Detroit Mint watch before, but I'm glad I have one now, and there might be more. It is a very, very nice micro brand. You can see there's their logo right there. And they seem to be doing it pretty well. A lot of my fellow watch friends out there love Detroit Mint, and after buying this watch and getting it in, I can definitely see why. So inside this very nice 3-position watch roll, which can of course double as a travel kit, if you will. Nice red kind of suede lining here. They give you a watch tool, which I have a couple of these. I actually keep one of these in both my cars. So that if I need to adjust the watch bracelet on the fly, I can do it in my car. It's a nice tool to have. I also have the links that I removed from the watch. These links, by the way, are held in place with friction pins. Not terribly hard to work with, not as good as say a screwed in link, but better than a pin and collar, that's for damn sure. It also comes with one of these NATO straps, which I don't like NATO straps. I have a definite dislike of NATO straps, but it comes with one if you prefer. And now, inside the middle slot is the Detroit Mint Speedy, which still has some plastic on it. I don't know how I missed that. That's crazy. How did I miss that? Anyway, I'll get that off later. Oh, there's another one. Huh. You know what? I'm going to get it off now because it bothers me. Yeah. That wasn't so bad. So, this is the Detroit Mint Speedy. Now, as you can see, this particular one is a homage, if you will, to the old 1960s Seiko Pogue, the now famous single subdial Seiko chronograph that was taken into space by Colonel Pogue. I forgot his first name. Wish I could remember it. Anyway, he wore his personal Seiko, I think it was a 6309, with gold face and the now nicknamed Pepsi dial. Took that up into space with him. And ever since then, the watches that were of that style, and there were also silver dial and blue dial variants, but the gold dial is nicknamed the Pogue in honor of him and his historic flight. Those watches are pretty expensive. I have one. Every time I show it on a video, it causes controversy because people are always saying, "Oh, the chapter ring is wrong. It's a Franken watch. It's not a real Pogue." Blah blah. Well, you know what? The serial number matches up with the Pogue, and I've been told that the chapter rings could be in either black or white, and my research says it's a Pogue, so it's a Pogue. But if I ever do decide to sell it, I'm going to sell it with that caveat and say, hey, some people say it's not a Pogue. Buy at your own risk. But I'm not selling the watch right now. So that's not a problem, is there? Anyway, enough of that. But this is a chronograph watch. Now, different from the Seiko Pogue, and also the Long Island watch homage to the Pogue, which I also have, and the Seiko 5 homage to the Pogue, which I don't have, but I have reviewed in other videos. This is a quartz watch. You can see right there, it has a subdial, the 6 o'clock with the running seconds, and we can see there's the chronograph seconds there, and that's a chronograph minute counter up there. I'm going to let it run for a while so you can see it in action. Unlike the other Pogue and Pogue homages, this is a quartz watch, and it just ticks away very nicely. But it is highly accurate, which is a plus. It has the outboard tachometer. Pardon me, I hiccuped. It is a fixed bezel in the Pepsi style with the partial red and mostly blue, and a very nice golden yellow sunburst dial. Red hands just like the original Pogue, and you can see there the minute hand is moving. Yes. It has a signed crown, unsigned pushers. The case is a little thicker than the original Pogue, but it does mimic the shape very nicely. And on the back, it has the image of a race car. I'm thinking that might be a Porsche, but I'm not really sure. But it looks like an old Porsche from the 60s, doesn't it? Looks so like a 917, but for all I know, it might be a McLaren. It could be a Ferrari. I don't know. If somebody knows in the comments, go ahead and put that down there. And as you can see, the top button starts and stops it. And it's a flyback chronograph. It snaps back to the 0 position very nicely. You have a standard style fold over clasp. It is signed. Double fold over, push button to unlock it. You have a 3 micro adjuster. And I'll give you a wrist shot. And as I said, the removable links are removed via friction pins, which means you'll need a punch and block to get them out. It's not much of a chore. It was very easy to work with, but I prefer screwed in links when I can get them. It's a very short lug to lug, and on my 7 1/4 inch wrist, this watch fits very nicely. It is on sort of the lower end in terms of overall size that I like, but it does fit my wrist very nicely without being clownish. It's a little bit tall though, so as you can see, it does fit under a long sleeve cuff, but it doesn't slide over very easily. But that's a minor complaint for someone who lives in Florida where you're not wearing long sleeves very often, but today it's a little cold. Everything you see is 316L stainless steel. It does have a nice satiny finish to it. There's not a lot of polish on this watch, and I don't hate that. The crown is a non-screw down crown, as you can see. It does hack the movement when you pull it out, and when you push it back in, it's good to go. It does have a first position right there for changing the date. But it is not a screw down crown. So, and of course the pushers are not sealed screw down pushers. So while the watch can get wet, I really wouldn't submerge it. I think if you did submerge it, tears would be ensuing soon after. Now this is the gold Pogue version. There is also a version with a blue dial, a black dial, and a silver dial. So just like the Seiko Pogues of old, I think the black dial is an addition to that. I know there is a silver and a blue. Or was it the blue one that was the addition to it? And there was I could never keep that straight, so whatever. But this is indeed a very nice looking homage to the Seiko speed timer, aka the Pogue. I think it does the gold dial of this is lighter than the original Pogue gold dial. It looks more like the same gold dial as the current Islander and the current Seiko 5 versions, but none of them are as dark as the original. Inside the watch, you have a VK61 Mecha Quartz. You've got a sapphire crystal, which is excellent at this price point, which, by the way, the price of this watch is $245. It is excellent value. $245 for a quartz chronograph that looks this good, with a very nice bracelet. It's not jingle jangly. It's not cheap feeling. Solid end links. Unfortunately, not quick release spring bars, but you know, you takes what you gets. And if you buy this watch, you are supporting an American watch company, and that's not a bad thing. These watches are assembled in Detroit, even though they use a Japanese movement. They are assembled by Americans in Detroit, Michigan. Let's see. You got a 40 millimeter case. Now, these measurements all came from the Detroit Mint website. I will leave a link to their website in the description. 40 millimeter diameter, 45 lug to lug, 14.5 millimeter thick, 20 millimeter lug width, 100 meter water resistance. So as I said, it is a watch that can get wet, but and you know, I reviewed 100 meter watch resistant watches that I said could be swimmable. I'm not going to call this swimmable, and the reason I'm not going to call it swimmable is because it doesn't have a screw down crown. It does not have screw down pushers. I would not submerge this watch. If you get it in a rainstorm or it gets wet washing your hands, that's okay. Don't put this watch underwater. You do so at your own peril. And by the way, if you get a quartz movement wet, quartz movements use electricity and they go zzz, you know, they short out. So you have to go buy a new movement. What a pain. So don't get it wet. Just wear it, enjoy it. I'm glad I saw this watch on Random Rob's live stream. I'm glad that I listened to my impulse and bought this watch. I may buy the silver one down the line. I really like the look of the silver one as well. I may go ahead and buy one just because I like it. But that might be later. I'm working on buying another couple watches and putting this old one in my collection will go on the back burner. But obviously, if I'm saying that I'm going to probably going to buy a second one of these, it means that I definitely recommend you check this watch out. And I hope you will. So if you found this video to be entertaining, useful, informative, please click that thumbs up button for me. That does help. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. I do read them all. I do respond to them all. However, if you are going to troll me, or try to, or you're going to leave links to bad places on the internet, I'm simply going to delete the comment and block the commenter. There's always one. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you found the channel. I hope you will take the time to watch many videos of mine. All I ask in return, if you haven't already done so by now, is click that red subscribe button at the bottom of the view window. And when you do, don't forget to click the bell icon too, so that when I upload new videos or I do a live stream, you will be alerted. Meanwhile, as I always say in my videos, and I know it's probably getting long in the tooth right now, but I don't care. It is a crazy old world out there. It is not getting better, at least not from my perspective. So please be careful out there. Stay safe, be well. See you soon.